On this week's episode of C'est La Vie, we meet design trio Audrey, Chedza and Mutsa, who drop gems on top mistakes to avoid when designing your home. Up next, we embark on the ultimate bush experience with Rumbidzai Mudzengerere, where we immerse ourselves in wildlife and learn the importance of culinary tourism. We then catch up with entrepreneur Nyaradzo Moyo to discuss her plant-based lifestyle and journey in establishing a competitive health brand in the food industry. Sit tight, it's about to be an insightful and exhilarating journey, only on C'est La Vie. You cannot imagine Africa without its animals and wonders of wildlife. It's a brand, a normal way of living for some, signified by totems and cultural practice. This uncapped luxury is ever more so in Zimbabwe. And no, this is no circus act. Buckle up as we take you on the ultimate bush experience, where you'll get to view various animals in their respective territories. Learn that wildlife is the perfect environment for building lifelong memories with family or friends, and quickly discover that playtime is as much a part of the animal experience as self-preservation. We got to chat to Rumbi Mudzengerere, founder of the Bush Experience, and this is what she had to say.
You know, it's always so difficult to talk about yourself, but Rumbi is a young lady entrepreneur in tourism. I started my journey over a decade ago in the pursuit of promoting Destination Zimbabwe and promoting Destination Africa to the world. So I run a travel business, which has seen me also starting the Bush Experience in Harare. Basically, we wanted to give people closer to Harare the opportunity for them to be able to enjoy the great outdoors. Yes, there are game parks every place, but we wanted to make it more intimate, you know, to have them dine outdoors, have like a luxury setting for them to enjoy and also to have animals around them. So it's not like we've reinvented the wheel. It's something that has already been existing, but we just decided to bring it closer to the metropolitan, because most of the experiences you find them when you go a bit out of town, like to Wange, Victoria Falls, and nothing really closer to the CBDs. I enjoy nature, I enjoy, you know, experiencing and exploring new places. So I think that has been my calming effect, and also just having people come through and experience nature with me. The UNWTO has been trying to promote something that we call gastronomic tourism, which is whereby we fuse the two, food and tourism. Because, I mean, when you travel, you have to eat.
That's true.
Yeah, when you go on a safari, you have to eat. So we're like, why not just bring the two together and bring the animals to the people and bring the food to the people, and we can just have one great experience. We've had a couple of incidences, you know, even the animals, remember it's nature, it's unpredictable, so anything can happen. We've had elands fighting and they fought into people's cars. Lucky enough for insurance, we have insurance, and our insurance covered that and fixed the cars for the guests. But, you know, we try to make sure that we give our guests adequate information regarding everything, regarding their safety as well, because at the end of the day, we are the ones who are encroaching into the animal space. So we need to make sure that, you know, we also respect our distance and our boundaries. Zimbabwe is such a beautiful country, and you get to appreciate this when you travel outside the country, and you're like, you know what? You start bragging unknowingly to say, oh, you know, in Zim this and Zim that. I mean, we have the Victoria Falls, and really a few places in Africa can compete with that. And then we also have the Great Eastern Highlands, which is my favorite. You know, you go there, you unwind. The Kariba Dam in itself, so majestic and beautiful. We have the Great Zimbabwe Monuments, which are second man-made monument after the pyramids of Egypt. So, you know, we have so much in this country, and like every corner you find something that is unique. We have unique tribes and cultures. We have the Wadoma people, we have the Ndebeles, the Tongas, just a great fusion. So I think you can never get bored. So, you know, every day you have different clients, and it's always memorable because you see the reaction that they have when they arrive and seeing the animals, you know. So every day it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. When they are happy, I'm happy. But I think the greatest is, you know, when people just come and they're showing each other love, like on Valentine's Day, or when we have proposals, engagements. You know, at times you have to meet with the groom, you know, and they have to tell you, okay, I want this, so at this particular time, I'll give you a cue, you do this, and then I go down on one knee. We've even had a wedding here, which was amazing. You know, the groom surprised the bride. She didn't even know what the wedding was going to be like. He planned everything, and she just had to show up. So it's things like that, you know, that make what we do amazing. So normally we ask our guests to be comfortable. You know, comfort is key. We're outdoors, safari gear if you want, or just whatever you're comfortable in. We've had people coming dressed up, whatever rocks your boat, basically. Because some people are like, we want to celebrate. Some come in long, flowy gowns. As long as you're comfortable, as long as you're warm, we do recommend, you know, those two things, comfort and warmth.
The Lion and Cheetah Park was conceived back in 1968 by the Bristow family. This establishment was meant for orphaned animals. It's a sanctuary for orphaned animals. So all the animals you see around the park are the offspring of the original animals that were brought in as orphans. So we have basically 4 sections. The first one will be the main lion enclosure, where you will see lions in their natural environment. You do not get out of the car and you keep your windows closed. The second part will be the game drive. That's where you expect to see, we have eland, we have wildebeest, we have the giraffe, we have impala, we have zebra, we have warthog. Basically we have herbivores in the game drive. So the third section will be the walk-through area. That's where we have the camel, we have crocodiles, we have ostrich, we have grey wolves, we have white lions, we have monkeys, we have baboons, and Tommy the tortoise is our favorite. He's estimated to be over 300 years old. Then the last but not least, we have the snake world, where you can go and learn about snakes. We have a variety of snakes. Among others, we have the black mamba, we have the African rock python, we have the green mamba, we have puff adders, we have a whole lot of snakes that you can go and learn. Basically, that's what we have to offer at the Lion and Cheetah Park.
A lot of people come together to renovate or from ground up to build their houses, but often make mistakes. So today we figured we would share with you 5 design tips that people often get wrong when they're actually building or renovating. These tips will help you probably do a better job if you've already done the work, or will actually help you to make sure you don't make these mistakes once you get started on your project.
And number 1. Now, the one mistake we always make, all of us are guilty of this, is not planning. We don't plan in our everyday life. I mean, you decide, I want to do this today, I want to do this in the afternoon, but you don't actually plan on how you're going to do it. Now, this applies to design too. People end up doing things without having an actual plan. And that comes to, for example, if you're renovating your house. Some things have to come first. For example, painting. You cannot paint before you decide on demolishing a wall, sorry. Because in the end, you have to now repaint, reskim, and redo everything, which then obviously costs more. Now, this is like a GPS. Are you going to go somewhere you don't know without a GPS? Where are you gonna end up? Nowhere. So that is mistake number 1.
Mistake number 2 that people often make is not budgeting properly. So you'll find that a budget is a very important part of whatever decision you make in your life. So if you have a roadmap, as she says, and you don't even know how much it's going to cost you, are you going to be able to get there? Do you have enough fuel? Do you have enough money? So what we would advise is have a dream list, everything that you need in your house, no matter how small you think it is, no matter how big it may seem. If you have a dream list and you have a budget, it will help you see your project to the end. We'll find that normally people tend to spend on items or little items or such one big item, then before you know it, your house is at roof level without a roof, or you've managed to paint and skim. Then what's next? No frames, no furniture, no rugs, because you've spent all your money. So budget, very important. That's tip number 2.
Tip number 3, that's one thing that I think we're all guilty of, particularly Zimbabweans. We do not hire professionals. I think with the internet and everything that's going on, everybody thinks that they're a professional in the design industry. Don't you guys think so?
Pinterest.
Yeah.
And so people tend to underestimate the value of actually hiring professionals. Now, a professional is a qualified person who is able to implement your designs to spec, who's able to share with you the processes, the budgets, like everybody mentioned earlier on, and everything else you need to get right in order to do it to precision. So you can have a haphazard project, or you can have a very organized, well-controlled, and perfect finished product.
And tip number 4, to add on to what she said, impulse buying. Now, lots of us are shopaholics, I'm included. You walk into a shop and you say, oh my gosh, I love that couch. I need that couch in my house. You walk into another shop, oh my gosh, I love that couch. I need that couch in my house too. Now, when you put these 2 couches together in your small little space, you realize, it won't work. It's not gonna work. From the fabric you've purchased, to the color you've purchased, to basically the size of the couch. So there's so many things we have to think of before we actually put things together. And like we said with tip number 1 and tip number 2, we need to have either 3D design or a layout, like a mood board, where you can see what you would like to have in your house, what it would match with, and how it would all look together. So this would help you with buying. So let's stop going to our friend's house and saying, ooh, I like your ceilings. I want that exact ceiling in my house, because your house is a different space. You are a different human being. You're not the same people. So what works in one place will not work in your place. So that is tip number 4.
Tip number 5, also very common, unfortunately. Exposed cords, plugs, and a whole lot of cabling going on in the house. Fortunately, because of all the technological advancements that are coming in, a lot of devices can be charged or are either wireless and all of that. But you still find that you cannot run away from cabling or cords. You might need them. So what we would just give a tip to people is, when you are renovating or when you are designing, please don't forget that. I think it's a very big mistake that people normally oversee. When you're now done, you have your beautiful wall, then you have cables running all over the place. So we could probably, if you've already built your house and you can't exactly chase through your walls anymore to hide your cables, we can give you 1 or 2 tips to say, maybe color your cables the same color as your wall. If it works out, it might help you hide. But you find also that in the market these days, there are a lot of cable ties and a whole lot of cable covers, trunking and all of that can help you cover that up. But it's one very common that we see all around everywhere we go. Everything else is set out, it's beautiful, and then there are cables everywhere. So yeah, that is the last tip for today that we'll be giving you.
On that tip, it reminds me of the house we were renovating, where a client had this beautiful wall and they were putting up their TV and realized, oh no, where am I gonna put the L&B? How am I gonna get it down to the actual decoder? How am I gonna have the decoder on? So now you had this cable just running down your beautiful slab because they had to have it there. So that is definitely a big thing to think of.
It's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Right.
So those are our design tips. I mean, if you've started on your project, factor them in. If you haven't started, take note, and hopefully they'll ensure that you come up with a beautiful home and a beautiful finished product. Excited to always share what we have with you.
We caught up with entrepreneur Nyaradzo Moyo to discuss her plant-based lifestyle and journey in establishing a competitive brand in the food industry.
Nyaru is a friend, Nyaru is a wife, Nyaru is a sister, Nyaru is a daughter. I'm a pastor's wife. My husband is an Adventist pastor, so I am every woman and every woman is me. I'm vegan, vegetarian myself. So when I moved back to the country after I'd been studying outside of the country, when I came back, I was looking for something that I would enjoy, something that's fun, something that's exciting, something that's tasty, and healthy. I was on a quest to create a service where the environment is a chill environment, but also you're eating healthy food that does not compromise on flavor, that doesn't compromise on taste, that does not compromise on the outlook of the food. So it was on a quest to create a product that I would enjoy. A friend of mine was diagnosed with cancer. In our late teens. Towards the end of his life, they had then consulted therapists, there's naturopathy guys, and they said to him he should go on a plant-based diet. It would help kill the cancer. So I was doing it with him to support him, to say you can do this, it's not difficult, we'll do it together. Unfortunately, he didn't make it. So when he didn't make it, I was now doing it in remembrance of him, to say, this is something that remains of him. And then it became a lifestyle. But over and above that, I'm Adventist, like I mentioned. So religion really plays a big part in this decision to this lifestyle, because the Adventists are very pro on the health message, plant-based diet, the Edenic diet. So that also sort of propelled my sustenance and consistency with the diet. There are about four classes. So you get your vegans. The vegans don't eat any animal products. So they don't take eggs, they don't take milk, they don't take cheese. They eat your vegetables, your fruits, your grains, your nuts. Then you have vegetarians. Vegetarians are going to take milk and cheese. They just don't eat meat. Then you have pescatarians. They take fish, eggs, cheese, and this. Then you have your normal diet, which consists of meat. The market is still primarily very large, big meat eaters. So ours is to say, okay, we'll give you your meat, but with a lot of vegetables, and we sort of win you over. So because we are advocating for a healthier lifestyle, our approach is to give you a holistic solutions to your day-to-day problems. So for our dairy-free solutions, which is our milk, we have oat milk, we have almond milk, we have dairy-free ice cream, we have dairy-free yogurts. And it's to say for people that are lactose intolerant, now you can enjoy your cereal in the morning without having the stomach issues later. For people that are diabetic, now you can enjoy breakfast with your yogurt that is unsweetened without the sugar. For people that have high blood pressure. So we are looking at a holistic solutions to day-to-day problems. So for your grains, you move away just from rice only. You've got barley, you've got bulgur, you've got quinoa, you've got couscous. So you've got also an array of that. So it moves away from being bland, because then you're not eating rice and spaghetti and pasta every other day. You can literally go for 10 days without having eaten rice, but you're still eating your starch. Say you want your starches. For your beans, you're not then just eating your sugar beans. You also have an array of of beans to choose from, grains, etc. So it's to have an appreciation of the things that are at your disposal that you can play with to eat a non-bland, exciting, healthy diet. There's a conversation that continues to happen around the world that if you go vegan, what are you going to do with your B12? What are you going to do with your protein? Contrary though, God in his wisdom, when he gave this diet to the people that first lived in the world, Adam and Eve, they didn't have meat in their diet before they sinned. So God in his wisdom had given us provisions enough for the B12s. So you'll find B12 is high in chickpeas. You find foods that are high in certain nutritional components that would then substitute when you take out meat. The most popular meal at Yanaya would be the bunless burger. Yeah, it's a burger without the bun. We don't want you to have the processed bun, so we are giving you a lot of vegetables with the meat. It's an experience. I challenge you, if you're watching, to go and try out the bunless burger. I personally haven't faced any challenges as a woman in the industry to face challenges with the men around me. I would be lying to say I've had an experience where men say maybe wanted me to give other favors that were not due. No, that has not been my experience. The things that I've experienced are things that every other entrepreneur is going to experience. The red tape around licensing, certification, capital, accessing funding from banks, from the institutions around us, and just entrepreneurship itself. It's others will say Mjolo, the pandemic, and then others will say entrepreneurship, the pandemic. Those are the challenges that are faced in the business that every other person is going to face when they venture into any business. We started cooking in my flat with my grocery money, made a meal, delivered to friends, not more than 8 actually. Our first order I did 8 deliveries. And then we bootstrapped until we opened our first booth. In colloquial language, you'd say it was Ngorumsika Chirungu. It was that, and then we continued to bootstrap until we opened our first restaurant. You are what you eat. I mean, the amount of water that you take, the amount of sleep that you get, the food that you're eating, the amount of fats that are in there that you're taking affects how your skin is going to look like. More than just the skin, but also how your whole body is going to react, your digestion, how tired you feel, how fatigued you feel. So we've got a juice that particularly speaks to skin. It's called Glow. The ingredients are custom put together to ensure that the impurities in your skin are sort of washed away with the juice. So yeah, you are what you eat.